is your definition? And I've been thinking about this a lot. What is your definition of self-love?
It's really hard, because like I said, it took me a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my definition of self-love is making small things add up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said the other day, I had a lot of stress
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I have no time to myself. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
hours to give myself a makeover. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
hours to, do something I really probably want to do that's going to take me a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I going to do? And I painted my toenails.
I saw that. When I talked to you, well, I texted you. I'm like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm painting my toenails. I was like, go. I'm like, that's amazing.
I
Yeah.
took 15 minutes and it was quick,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's a rejuvenation kind of feeling because
Yeah.
you could pick a fingernail color,
Mm-hmm.
you could pick a color of your clothing that
Mm-hmm.
really set your day.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like
Yeah.
like I know I'm one of those people. I could pick a pastel color
Mm-hmm.
and feel bright or
Yeah.
playful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I could pick a boring color like my gray.
I have
And
gray on too. I don't know if you can tell it's gray, but it's
it
gray.
was purple. You
Really?
know me, I thought it was purple. But and it can uplift you or it can bring you down.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those. I make my bed when I get out of my bed in
Mm-hmm.
the to make sure I don't just lay back down in it. You
Yeah.
know, and
That's
that's one of my
important.
things that I force myself to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easy to lay back down and be like, it's 1 o'clock because I go to work at night.
Yeah.
Be like, it's 1 o'clock. I guess I should get out of bed.
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah.
I make it a point to make my bed, open one of my blinds, open my
Mm-hmm.
blinds in my bathroom, open the blinds downstairs, let in light
Yeah.
because sometimes dreariness can make you feel like,
Yeah.
so little
Mm-hmm.
things can make you feel self-love. What was it? I have some friends that are single and they
Mm-hmm.
say things like, ugh, nobody ever buys me anything. Buy yourself something,
Mm. Yeah. And
you
that
know?
takes me back to Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
It was your anniversary. So happy
Okay.
anniversary again. I said it like 1,000 times already. But gosh, just I mean, I'm a single woman, and I think for me, I have to be real about it and just say like, well, I wish I had someone that, bought me flowers or something. I mean, I think it's natural for single women to maybe go through that on a day like Valentine's Day. I think just because it's so hyped up, and it's
But
sad that we
I think
go through that, but
it's
what'd you say?
associated to me. I think it's associated that way to make people feel different emotions,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Because to me, I get excited because it is our
Mhm.
anniversary, and
Yeah.
my husband is the first man I actually wanted to celebrate Valentine's Day with.
Oh wow. Mhm.
Never cared for it before. And,
Mhm.
I think about that, but I saw something on Facebook and I really loved it. One of my friends on Facebook, she
Mhm.
put, because she's a single woman,
Mhm.
she's a thriving, you know, it's not,
Mhm.
so she's a single mom. And you know what she put on there? Have Valentine's Day with your kids.
Yes.
Because no matter what, love is love. So
It
if you're
is.
love to your kids or you're giving love to a person, whether it's a
Mhm.
man or female, whatever it may be, but the thing is, you're teaching your kids to continue that love fest.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's crazy because I was like, oh my God, I've been Valentine's Day with my kids forever,
Mhm.
Since
Mhm.
baby, I've been a Valentine with them. Rather
Yeah.
have, oh God, I still have it next to my bed. A Valentine. I'm so serious, watch. I got everybody these last year.
Oh. Uh-huh.
And you just put the Valentine's Day thing in here, or I get
Yeah.
them a box of candy. Even
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
grandma gets a box of candy and flowers. from me or from the
Yeah.
boy. But
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where if you let the sadness of the day be the reason you're not loving,
Yeah.
that's sad, because I
Yeah.
know when I was single, I was like, I still got
And
my
it could
voice.
be a day, it could be a day to love on yourself.
Love, that's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
know,
Buy your own.
and
I have bought my own self flowers plenty of times, and
and
it's
that's what
brightened up my
it is.
day. Uh-huh.
That's what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
fact that I have friends that hate the day of Valentine's Day,
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I understand because you never know what other people have gone through.
Yeah.
But you can also use that as a day of you.
Yeah. A day of
You can
self-love. Mm-hmm.
have Christmas that
Yeah.
comes around, and people be like, "I hate Christmas."
Mm.
Last what was it? 2020 was. Ugh,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So people were like, "I didn't get to see family member." Blah blah blah. Well, to
Mm-hmm.
me, yeah, I didn't get to see family member because I love them. You
Yeah.
know, I'm
Yeah.
around a lot of people that are careless.
Mm-hmm.
To this COVID going around.
Yeah.
So, and I got a visitor. He just decided to walk in. Yeah. Or you can have a Bubba. No,
Yes.
thank you, Bubba. Yeah.
Pets,
So,
pets are they're healing. They're so, I mean, they're lovable, but they are so healing.
oh, yeah. Because,
Yeah.
like, when he'll have a hard day at work and he
Mm-hmm.
will come, and I swear,
He
I
says, I
swear
know you're
to
talking about me.
I can, but still. Yeah. But, my husband, he was not a
Mm-hmm.
big pet person.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, he has 2.5 dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a shared pup. He's our
Yeah.
shared baby.
Mm-hmm.
And he will zone out on our dogs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And the thing, I've seen people do birthdays for their dogs. And I'm like, I feel like I failed my dog Taz because I haven't done a birthday for him. And I've had him for like 16 years, 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
15 years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm sorry, Taz, I failed you as an owner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so many things in this world that we don't have an answer to.
Yeah.
And self love is a hard one because it
Yeah.
requires you to know yourself.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing because we're too busy loving on everybody else and taking care of everybody, especially when you have kids. When you have
Yes.
kids, that umbilical cord is just stretch it
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
further. Got
And
you.
then I think sometimes we feel guilty um when we want to love on ourselves as moms. And I'll give
That
you an
is
example.
something.
So I wanted I just have you ever taken a vacation? I don't know if you have, just but by yourself. And I want to do that. Like I want to go somewhere, be by water, and just have some time to think and relax. But then those thoughts of I start feeling guilty if I don't take my daughter with me. Um, I'm not being a good mom, or I don't want to. It's just that I don't want to leave her at home. All that stuff just start coming in. But no, this really started out as something I wanted to do for me. So why am I feeling guilty for wanting to do something just for me? And it was just like I was really struggling with that yesterday. It was just like I want this for me, but I don't want her to feel bad. And it's just like I think you just have to tell yourself, no, this is for me and I need to do this for me. Right.
Yeah. And I think the thing is that we don't understand because we put more emphasis on selfishness towards, what we're doing for
Hmm.
ourselves. And
Yeah.
it's one of the things. I think if we could look at doing something for ourselves as simple as that,
Hmm.
taking a ride to the bay and looking at the water, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And Gabino got after me last week or something because I kept going, I want donuts, but nobody wants donuts, right? Because I
Yeah.
can't eat donuts by myself. And I don't feel like I can. And it goes back
Hmm.
to remember I was like, I can't make breakfast for myself. I can't. Nobody else
Hmm.
wants to eat, so I'm not going to eat. You know.
Yeah.
And so then it goes to like, wait, why can't I make breakfast for myself?
Right.
Cause the nurturer, you want to nurture.
Hmm.
You can't turn that off. And, it's a hard one because nobody really wants to stop being a mom, or,
Yeah.
or I'm not going to knock dads that are
Mm-hmm.
stand, but I'm saying to be who you are in the
Yeah.
relationship of who you love,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to stop doing that,
Right.
and there's times when it's hard. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to be, but
Yeah.
really the mind is like, I want to do it more, and I just don't want you to reject me, you
Yeah.
know. I don't
Yeah.
want the backlash, but I'm going to have to counteract that and say the same thing back at you, or feel this way to protect me. But then
Mm-hmm.
when it comes down to it, it's like we feel guilt because we want to feel guilt for not doing what we think we're supposed to do for that other person,
Yeah.
you know? And I mean,
Yeah.
I've never, okay, so I want to say about 2.5 years ago, I went to the not the drive-in, you remember the walk-in movie theater?
Mm-hmm.
I went by myself.
That's something I've never done before. I've
Oh,
always wanted to do it.
oh my God, you don't understand. I was so weirded out by it. Like
Mm.
my mindset was like, they're really gonna let me go by myself? Nobody wants to go with me.
Yeah.
It was hurting. Like my feelings started trying
Mm-hmm.
to tell me, you're being rejected by the family. Nobody wants to go with you. And
Mm.
then it was part of me was like, wait, you gotta learn you.
Yeah.
And
Isn't
that's
that
a
right? Like,
scary
isn't that
thing.
a part of learning you and
Hmm.
learning, getting back to who you were before you were a mother, before you were a wife? Like,
Yeah.
we
Before
tend
you
to
were,
lose ourselves
hmm and we don't
in
mind it. Have you
uh-huh.
ever noticed? Because the moment we become a parent, or the moment they say we're about to be a parent, you're like, okay, so it's all about them.
Right. Right.
No more
Yes.
me, you
We
know?
totally 100% lose ourselves.
But we never
Hmm.
remember to come back to ourselves.
Yeah, and that's where it is. We never
That's
remember to come
it.
back. Yes. Hmm.
And then when you come back to yourself, you're like, should I check in with them?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Hmm.
hard. Because I swear, I remember going to the movie theater and thinking to myself, I'm only paying for one person. I'm only
Right.
eating popcorn for one person. Don't get the big one. It's
Yeah.
okay to get a small one. you know?
Yes.
Yeah, it's little things that build up to bigger things to us. And I
Hmm.
think we need to learn, because I told you I had a therapist that wrote me a prescription for an hour to myself.
I love that. Every time you
And
say that, I love it.
and that's funny because it's almost one
Hmm.
of those things,
Hmm.
whatever you're doing for that hour. And I think it's not like we're going to leave a bowl of food, or I mean, a pot of food cooking on the stove, and our
Hmm.
toddler sitting on the floor with an electric
Right.
cord in their hand, and we're going to
Hmm.
go, bye, kid. We're not
Yeah.
doing that.
Right.
When it's
Right.
suitable times, because there's mothers at all ages that need to hear this.
Hmm.
When there's a suitable time to get that hour to yourself, whether it's
Yes.
11 o'clock at night and you got to go to sleep because you got work
Hmm.
tomorrow morning, but that's
Hmm.
the only time the kid goes to sleep, or that's the only
Hmm.
time that the dishes are done, you sit there,
Yeah.
you know? It could
Hmm.
be knitting, it could be playing on your phone, it could be whatever. Whatever that hour or whatever that time limit that you get,
Yeah.
love you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, I mean,
I remember
I've
my kids. I was going to say, I remember my kids when all three were home, and I would get up in the morning and disappear at like 6 a.m. And the kids would come around the corner at, I don't know, 8 or 9. And I'm like, Mom, why every time we get up in the morning, you're in here, like on the couch? And I'm just like, for me, that was my time to just get myself together, read my Bible, pray. Like, we need that time. And if you have to get up at the crack of dawn to do it, or like you said, if you have to do it once everybody's gone to bed at night, or just do it, because it makes a difference.
it does.
Because for me, when I don't, and I think you mentioned this before, when I don't get that time in, just
Hmm.
me time, my day
It's out of
is screwed. It's screwed.
yeah, because you basically,
Spiritually, mentally, it is absolutely screwed.
and
Yeah.
the thing, we forget that we have feelings.
Hmm.
Our feelings get
Yeah.
hurt, our feelings
Mhm.
get angry, you
Yeah.
just, all the things that we are feeling, that we
Mhm.
sit there and go, not
Yeah.
right now. It's
Mhm.
not about you.
Yeah.
And I say that a lot because that's how I finally figured it out, was that
Mhm.
I was ignoring me, but
Yeah.
I don't and it honestly, it's weird because even though I know I was neglecting me, I
Mhm.
didn't regret it because I was doing something that was for my kids, or I was doing it, for somebody else. So I didn't regret it. I
Mhm.
just wish I knew how to redirect to make sure that I was accountable for me too.
Yeah. Or balance the two.
That's a great
Yeah.
thing because
Mhm.
but I do believe once we figure out the balance of loving yourself
Mhm.
or acknowledging yourself too.
Mhm.
Okay. Sometimes we
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah.
There's a balance of I'm still a parent and I'm happy. I'm happy to because
Mhm.
I don't want people to think when we talk like this that we're like, we need this outlet from our kids because we don't like them. No, it's because we need to remember we're not good if we're not taking care of ourselves to be good for them,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
I swear I get so obsessed over when one of the boys get up in the morning. I'm like, how was your night? How was work?
Mhm.
Or,
Mhm.
you know, do you want to go with me? Do but it's that
Mhm.
interaction that you love.
Yeah.
But then at some point, I think we need to acknowledge our free time to do stuff for
Mhm.
ourselves too.
Yeah.
And remember, I told you I was doing stuff around like making stuff in the house or buying stuff in the house, going,
Mhm.
but it's okay because I'm spending because I want to do it for me, but
Mhm.
everybody else is going to benefit from it. So I'm
Mhm.
okay to be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like it
it
wasn't enough for it to
mm-hmm.
just be for you. You had to
Nope.
tell yourself, it's for me, but it's also for them, so it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
I like that
easy.
time when I texted you and you was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go spend $20 on myself at the Dollar Tree. And I was just like, yeah, I should do that too.
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I had to do? That had to become my therapy
Mm.
because I don't like being wasteful,
Yeah.
and I don't like I don't like spending money wastefully,
Mm.
and I don't like when I did go to therapists
Mm-hmm.
and being like, here's $100 an hour, which I don't knock people that do, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying here's $100 an hour for them to go. And so, what do you feel?
Right.
What do you think? So then I
Mm-hmm.
start doing it. I go, I think I want to go to Dollar Tree. I think,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I can understand therapy when it's something more stressful. Do it.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you need it, do it. My
Absolutely.
therapy was so just me having to acknowledge myself.
And
It
I
was
want you to
more
say,
like,
I want you to say that again for moms who are listening about therapy. Like if you
yeah,
need therapy, have
do
therapy. It's nothing
yeah.
to be ashamed about.
And one thing, okay, when I went through different stages in my life
Mm-hmm.
of different needs or struggles or pains that I went
Mm-hmm.
through therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I went through therapy when I was getting out of a bad relationship with my ex-husband. And my problem was my therapy, they were like medication, medication,
Mm-hmm.
medication. And I'm like sitting there going, I don't think that's what I wanted,
Right.
you know? So
Mm-hmm.
then I had to, like, again, come up with an idea. How do I express myself? And I was young. I was like 22, maybe 22, 23.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have a lot of communication, and parents didn't know answers because they were going through their own.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I went to a therapist that was like, well, take this, take that, and
Mm-hmm.
I, no, I don't like medicine. I have like a fear of certain medications and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I take ibuprofen, but you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's a
Mm-hmm.
fear, and
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of them are quick to go. Here's medication. Here's medication.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted to talk. I wanted to express. I wanted to say the things that was in here that I didn't know how
Mm-hmm.
to put into words.
Yeah.
So after time had went by,
Mm-hmm.
finally I was like, don't give me medication. Let me
Yeah.
talk. Can I have somebody that talks to me? And they'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a waiting list. And I was like, I gotta wait.
Yeah.
Like,
That's sad.
I'm bothered now. I need you
Mm-hmm.
now. And then, I,
And that could actually be the reason why some women,
hmm
moms, wives don't go to counseling because they're afraid they're not going to be heard.
yes,
Maybe they're afraid that they're just going to be pushed off to
uh,
some medication. And I think
yeah,
a lot of us we want to be heard. And like you said,
yeah.
we want to have an outlet.
hmm
Yeah.
And sometimes you just want acknowledgement to the words
Mm-hmm.
that are playing out in you.
Yeah.
Because for me, it wasn't the first therapist, it wasn't the
Mm-hmm.
second. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
I remember just the very first one. I think I was like 15, and my grandma was like, because she had taken me, and she goes, "Oh, you need somebody to talk to,"
Mm-hmm.
because I was no longer living with my parents. I was living with my grandma. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the lady just kept going, "What do you think? What do you think you should do?" Well, if I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to think what I should do, I would know the answers. I wouldn't be doing
Right.
it. And then
Right.
when it happened again after a bad
Mm-hmm.
marriage, I'm getting the same response from the next person. I'm like, you guys must be rich because you
Mm-hmm.
asking me the same thing.
Right.
So when I finally got that one therapist, or yeah, she was amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
she just,
sometimes you have to go, just from like your
hmm
experience, sometimes you have to go through a couple to get the right one. And that's
yeah.
okay too. Yeah.
And you just sit there and you almost beg for a communication, like
Mm.
have that one-on-one or group.
Mm-hmm.
I want to
Mm-hmm.
know I'm not the only person
Yeah.
battling, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
And that's
And
important. That's
yeah,
also important, what you just said. You want to know that you're not alone,
yeah,
or you're not the only person battling this. Because we say this often, like a lot of women, single moms, we suffer in silence, and we can
hmm
tend to think that what we're going through this alone.
yeah,
And just knowing that you're not going through it alone, it just brings so much healing. Yeah.
it does. But
Mm-hmm.
once I dealt with having a really good therapist that kind of put
Mm-hmm.
me on the path where I still use what she says, even though I don't go to her anymore,
Mm-hmm.
I still listen
Yeah.
to what she said, and I
Mm-hmm.
still reapply myself, to what
Yeah.
she said. I gotta let my cat out of my closet. I
Okay.
don't know how she got in there. I like that you let
Okay.
me know. Bye. They all have personalities. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying is like I'm happy that I met somebody like that therapist that can
Mm-hmm.
communicate with you on a level
Yeah.
of not here's a pill that'll take care of that, you know?
Right.
So once she said that, I was like, okay. And another thing that she did, because I never want to hurt other people's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I hate hurting other people's feelings, but now I don't hurt their feelings as much as
Mm-hmm.
I address what they did to hurt my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a hard one because I never wanted to hold people accountable for how I felt because of what they did to me. I
Mm-hmm.
would say, you did this or blah blah blah, right? I wouldn't say that. I would say things like somebody or everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, you weren't there at the time. Why was I blaming you? If I
Right.
say everybody. So what
Mm-hmm.
she did, she goes, who is the person that did this to you? If I brought her an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, I was able to say, my this person, my
Mm-hmm.
that person. And she goes,
Yeah.
so just saying it to them and breaking down what they did is
Mm-hmm.
not a bad thing. That's holding them accountable for what they did to you.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And
And
that
we
was
were just
me.
talking about accountability and how
Yeah.
important it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard because either you don't like conflict
Mm-hmm.
or you're afraid to be part of an issue,
Yeah.
you know? And it's hard to separate those two things. And until she really said that to me,
Mm-hmm.
I really went through with everybody. You, it was never you, it was everybody,
Yeah.
somebody,
Mm-hmm.
not me, you know?
Yeah.
Finally, I was able to say, you know, what you're dealing with, this is how it's affecting me.
Mm-hmm. So you were taking accountability. You
Yeah.
were taking accountability.
I was
Yeah.
taking accountability, but I was holding people accountable for what they did to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so now when I deal with stuff, I think I'm a little more brass. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind being direct to who did it,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it does get me because, with me working in buildings, having to
Yeah.
clean,
Yeah.
sometimes this mouth
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
being nasty for me
Yeah.
because it's blah blah blah, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Well, it's
it's
important because it goes both ways, accountability.
mhm,
We have to hold ourselves accountable, but it's
mhm,
important for us to hold other people accountable.
yes,
Yeah. And I
and
feel
that
like sometimes, even as moms, we feel like we don't hold other people accountable because maybe we feel like we deserve that or it was our
yeah,
fault anyway, or yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
especially because you know I think with our kids, sometimes we may hold back a little because we don't want
Mm,
them to cut us off from what we
mm,
feel we still need to be part of. You
mhm,
and it's hard because you
mm.
catch yourself going, "I'm your mom, but I want to be your protector,"
Yeah,
you know. And I
yeah,
swear to you, I'm always in all the kids' business. They're always so sick of me, but I love
yeah,
them.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is like there's nights where my heart, I could be sleeping and it'll just go, "Where's
Mhm.
everybody?
Yeah.
Let me make sure everybody's okay."
I know
You
for me, I had to, and I think this is a part of me loving myself. I'm going to say emotionally. I think with I think in this season of my life, like I had to step away from being so involved in my adult kids' lives because they are adults. And maybe there's some things that I don't need to hear about or know about. And I feel like if I'm constantly like they're dumping ground, and that's not a bad thing. It's just because my kids are very comfortable with talking to me and telling me stuff,
Mhm.
and I love that. But there are some things as a mom that mentally I can't handle and I can't carry. And so it's probably better for me not to hear those things. And then that also brings us back to not carrying our kids' burdens. Because I feel like when I hear everything and I know about everything, well, now I'm going to carry it.
Yeah.
Um, so a part of self love for me, I think, in this season in my life is not having to be involved in every area of my adult kids' lives because they're adults, and learning how to still be here for them in every way,
Yeah.
um, but allowing them to be adults and make their own decisions. They have to learn just like we had to learn. And then if they need me, then I'm
Mhm.
here. But I think not choosing to be a part of every single thing that goes on with them in their adult life is really helping me a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
I believe that. I
mhm,
know, like for me, when it comes to, certain things, I
mhm,
don't part of it,
yeah,
but the ones that they ask me for my opinion,
mhm,
or they run past me, I want to give my
mhm,
opinion because I'm like, oh, I've been through this. But if I haven't been through it,
yeah,
I those are the things that hold to our head, like, okay, well, let's
Mm-hmm.
raise them as if we did go through it. And how do we
Yeah.
help them through it? But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think like we vent to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and we communicate.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're communicating with us and they
Mm-hmm.
don't need our opinion, or they don't need us to hold their burden. They're just
Yeah.
getting it off their chest so they can hear what the words were and how to break it down when it comes back in.
True.
Because I know there's been things that I held in that hurt
Mm-hmm.
me. Nobody else knew I was going through it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the moment I said it out loud, or the moment I put it into words, or I wrote it on my notebook, or I bounced it off of somebody else for their opinion, or just
Mm-hmm.
for them to hear what I was going through,
Mm-hmm.
it was more like, whew, that was good.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? But then
Yeah.
as moms, because we're so quick, like, if our kids go to the park and they fall, we want to catch before they fall and skid up their knee.
Yeah.
So, we retake what they give us as a
Mm-hmm.
conversation and be like, oh, so remember that thing you were going through on Tuesday? So
Mm-hmm.
we thought about it, and this is
Mm-hmm.
how you should. And they're like, oh, I already dealt with it,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And
While we're
I,
carrying it, and they're just like, "Huh? Oh, I dealt with that, or I was taking care of that," and you're just like, "Really? I spent all this time worrying, worrying about this and praying about it, and wow, you took care of yourself." Okay.
you know, I
Mm-hmm.
I bounce back to my grandma, and
Mm-hmm.
I swear to you, some of the things that I go through with the kids, or some of the things that I talk. Have you ever had deja vu? And you
Mm-hmm.
go, oh my God, I did this to my grandma.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I just know I talk to my grandma every day. Like, she called me a few
Mm-hmm.
minutes, and she's gonna know. But I I will call her and I'd be like, oh my God, in this job and in
Mm-hmm.
my day-to-day life, and this lady cut me off, or these people are being mean.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sit there and you go, I've already said that to my grandma,
Yeah.
and hit them
Mm-hmm.
with something. And you think
Mm-hmm.
back to when you were their age talking to your grandma about something,
Mm-hmm.
and then your kids talk to you about something, and you're going, oh my God, I did this.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And so
Mm-hmm.
then while you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, hey grandma, I'm sorry I ever stressed you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
mean, I used to do caregiving at all times of the hour. And I remember calling my grandma, or not calling my grandma, and getting
Mm-hmm.
a phone call when I walk into my own house.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, did you make it home? I'm like, yes. She's like, well, and so I knew you made it home. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. Sometimes on the weekend, because I don't sleep until Gabino gets to his job in the Bay Area, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't sometimes sleep until Junior walks in, and don't let it rain.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let, Josh have a bad day and
Mm-hmm.
I need to see how that day went. I'll be like, I was just watching TV. How are you guys doing? Can we talk? I love you. You know what I'm saying?
We can't help it. We
No,
cannot help it.
but it is one of those things
Mm-hmm.
that I think, and I think until we figure out how to do it naturally, I
Yeah.
think we should have a sticky note idea and be
Mm-hmm.
like, remember yourself. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That could be get a cup of coffee.
You know what I thought about yesterday? I was just like, we came into this world by ourselves. We're gonna leave this world by ourselves. So take some time to love you while you're here. Yes.
That is a very true statement.
Mm-hmm.
He, that is so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about that. I'm just like, if you lose yourself, you know, like
Yeah.
my daughter, my other two, they're adults and they're off on their own. But my 17-year-old is going to school in New York.
That,
And
that, that's
yeah,
amazing.
and so I was just like, wow, life is really, really going
Change.
to change for her and for me.
for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like,
But you know what? I feel like, with your other kids leaving, you
mm-hmm.
got empty nest in portions,
Oh
and
yeah.
this is gonna be
Mm-hmm.
your empty nest, and you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
really be like, and I mean, I have three at home and one in college,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I, even though she's away in college,
Yeah.
I think to myself, if my husband calls, if she calls, if I get a
Mm-hmm.
text, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, gas up the car.
We're going. Yeah.
We gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Road trip, and I'm
Yeah.
already, because
Mm-hmm.
no matter how far they are or whichever
Mm-hmm.
way they leave home,
Mm-hmm.
they're always gonna be yours, you
Yeah.
know. And
Mm-hmm.
that rest mom, super like Superwoman, Wonder Woman,
Mm-hmm.
superhero, you can't stop me, I take bullets.
Right.
It kicks in, and I mean, when I was a teenager, before I had kids,
Mm-hmm.
never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would be the mom that I am now,
Mm-hmm.
or the person. From the moment you hear you're pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
it's like your mind is blown.
Yeah.
Okay. It's never the same
Mm-hmm.
again.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's a planned pregnancy or not a planned pregnancy, being honest,
Mm-hmm.
your life changes,
Oh yeah.
and the moment,
100%. Mm-hmm.
yeah, the moment you see those faces look at you
Mm-hmm.
and those eyes make connections to your heart, you're like, I'm going to love you forever,
For
you know?
me, and I think for all of us as moms, I always say the love fest started with me straight from the positive pregnancy test.
Mhm.
I was in love with whoever and whatever was in there right when I got that positive pregnancy test. So it started for me
I'm telling you, I remember
then.
the
Mm-hmm.
moment I found out, and it's crazy. And some people may not understand, even though I was in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And he, I don't knock him because he was a good father when he was
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And, but when he did what he did, he was no longer connected.
Mm-hmm.
But I was prepared the moment I saw that pregnancy test. The moment I went and had it confirmed,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is mine.
Yes.
This
Mm-hmm.
is, and
Mm-hmm.
like the next one came, this is mine.
Mm-hmm.
The
The
third one
love
happened.
never stops. It just
No,
grows. It just
but you know
grows.
what? Like I consider her my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and she's mine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give birth to her, but I swear the
Mm-hmm.
moment I met her, from the moment, what now, almost 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's been ups or downs or whatever, I love her because
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't care. She's mine. But I
Yeah.
swear there's moments like I said, I wake up in the middle of the night with the 360 app and I'm like, where's everybody? You
Yeah.
know? I just gotta make
Yeah.
sure everybody's okay. And then
I
I'm like, okay.
actually, I actually, I don't know if my daughter will see this or not, but she already knows. I we have each other's locations on our phone, and I try not to check it often. There's that mother thing in me that every now and then I just want to make sure that she is where she's supposed to be at home or at work. And if I happen to check and those two addresses are not appearing, my mind can go places that will just drive me crazy.
Think of it
But
this way.
I have to learn to know, okay, she's an adult and she's gonna go other places besides
But
work and home. So
but you know what?
yeah.
Think of it this way. Like my oldest son, his girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
fiance,
Mm-hmm.
360 app.
Uh-huh.
So the other night, there was a car accident on Marysville, and oh my
Mm.
God, I could not get home straight away. So I know her grandfather drives that way, her sisters, her
Mm-hmm.
grandparents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I look on the app, she's at home.
Mhm.
So I'm like, oh, okay. And I go, wait a minute,
Mhm.
parents, her sisters.
Mhm.
So I call her and I'm like, hey, is everybody at the house? Are you guys okay? And
Mhm.
she's like, yeah, everybody's home. And so her grandfather starts talking about the accident. I go, yeah, we just made it through the accident and it's bad. They had us go all around. I
Oh,
just want to make sure
wow.
everybody's okay. I pray everybody's
Mhm.
okay there. And.
Mhm.
But it was that instant of I didn't just care about my own. I cared about. And
Yeah.
so I consider them my family because we're just
Mhm.
married.
Yeah.
So that feeling kicked in and I was just like, please let everybody be okay. And
Mhm.
it was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy. And as quick as we have to worry about our kids' burdens, we pick up other burdens. Because I have
Mhm.
friends through something, and sure enough, I will be like, how can I be there with it? You
Yeah.
know, but
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 like we
yeah,
were said before, like learning,
certain.
I don't think we're ever going to escape
Mhm,
burdens, right? Because I feel like what God tells us that we're always gonna walk through things, and
mhm,
we're always going to be faced with things, but that He's always going to be here with us to carry us through it. So you and I were just saying, like, we're always going to be faced with burdens, but it's that point of knowing how to deal with it and then moving on. And I think the moving on or moving past it is the hard part.
yeah.
But I think the more we do it, and the more we remind ourselves about it, and then other people remind us, I think we will eventually get in that habit of knowing that we don't have to carry our kids' burdens or other burdens. Yeah,
It's true.
it's
It's a
important.
hard one. It's a
It
hard one.
is.
It's
Mm-hmm.
important, but I think it's one of those things like we're not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and we
Yeah.
got to remind ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to conquer everything and fix
Yeah.
everything. We're
Mm-hmm.
not. Nobody's perfect. We weren't made to be perfect,
Right. Right.
and
Mm-hmm.
like this is you say a season, which I really like that because that means
Mm-hmm.
everything's always going to be circulating, you know.
Yeah, I love
But
that word season
I
because
love
in
that.
life we go through seasons, and I don't know if I always looked at it that way, but I think I was reading something in the Bible, and God was just saying there's a time and a season for everything that you go through in your life. And if I look at it that way, like that's true. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we have our ups, we have our downs, we have
Mhm.
turmoil that just drags out,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
But I think what's important is that somewhere in there we have a connection to somebody,
Mm.
or you
Right.
know, like if we can't do it ourselves to keep us on track, to have somebody that can say, "Hey,
Yeah.
calm down," or
Mhm.
you think about it. There can be like the worst thing in your life, and you have somebody that shows up and they go, "You need a hug,"
Yeah.
you know,
We
and that's
need
the
an
big thing.
accountability
Yeah,
friend, sister, whatever you want to call it. And
and it
that's
has
self-love
to be
too. And that's
respect.
nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah.
No, and that's the thing. A lot of people, it could be anything that's wrong with us, and I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it could be an illness.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a relationship. It can be a job. It could be, family issues,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if you can find a safe connection to somebody
Yeah.
or an outlet or a way to deal with day to day life
Yeah.
and you can get a perspective on it,
Mm-hmm.
do it,
Yeah.
you know.
It makes
And
such a big difference. It
it's
does.
it's hard to find these things because, like I said, when this happened when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
I was on my own. Nobody was going through this. Just me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody else. And I think like they say with age you learn, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and
Mm-hmm.
until you go through some stuff, you don't realize you've gotten through some stuff.
Absolutely.
you
Mhm.
know? And it's sad because, you think of young people
Mhm.
and you hear one of them go, "Oh, but I love him so much." you know?
We've all been there.
And so as when you get older, I honest to God can sit here and look and go, "Oh my God, I've gotten through some stuff."
Mhm.
And you sit there and you're in the moment of everything that's going bad.
Mhm.
We dwell on that going bad feeling
Yeah.
that it becomes comfort because we're doing it. We're just constantly
Mhm.
doing it. But when
Mhm.
you can put in perspective of what you've already gone through
Mhm.
and you break that down and you see the breakdown of, you mean I've done this before?
Yeah.
You, I've gone through and I did it for this long and I did it for that long and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm. Mhm.
While you start going, I gotta pay attention what I'm doing,
Yeah.
you know. And
Mhm.
I like the idea of the journaling of things.
Mm.
I think
Mhm.
when you journal and you go back, or even like my notebook, sometimes I just write crazy notes in it of what I'm
Mhm.
going through, what I'm dealing with, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you go back and you see those things and you look at them and you're like, this is how I got past that. Let me apply
Mm.
it again. Or let me not apply
Mhm.
that because it wasn't helpful,
Yeah. That's the
you know?
beautiful thing about journaling. You can
Hmm.
always look back to whatever date and time or season you were in your life and be like, wow, I've really grown from that. Or it could be, you know what, I'm still struggling with this. I need to change some things, or I need to go a different route about this or something like that. It's always good to be able to look back on it
But
for
and
sure.
then that goes back to accountability,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes things in our own life
Mm-hmm.
we are finding to keep it normal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this because I know different situations that people have been in the same situation over and over again with different people, different
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
locations,
Yeah.
and like, why are you drawn to that, you know? And so then
Yeah.
you're like, evaluate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not happy, but yet you keep doing the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
change it up a little,
Yes.
you know. And
Mm-hmm.
but instead of, like, I have a big problem, like I always tell you, I like accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to be accountable for myself.
Yeah.
I
It
need to
starts with it starts with us, right? We need to be accountable.
You've got to
Yes.
be accountable for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but you also have to see who's who's causing you some pain. So you
Mm-hmm.
could go, wait a minute, you're not welcome into this.
Mm-hmm.
You're not welcome to hurt me, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a hard one because a lot of the times the people that are hurting us is the ones we love the most.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Absolutely.
Because
Mm-hmm.
strangers can be somebody you work with,
Mm-hmm.
somebody you pass in a grocery store
Right.
that can hurt your feelings. You can
Mm-hmm.
either choose to take that and take it to the next person and the next person,
Mm-hmm.
or you can go, I got to leave you here,
Right.
you
Mm-hmm.
know? But then think about people that chooses that comfort in that negatives because those
Mm-hmm.
negatives are normal.
Right.
Those are the things that you have to be accountable. Do I want to find the next person to hurt me? Do I want to find the next job that brings me that same pain? Do I want
Mm-hmm.
to find the same way to deal with the same drama that I found last time over here?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I think a lot of it is like, pick your battles,
Absolutely. That is
you know,
life. Choose your battles.
choose
Mm-hmm.
your battles. And those,
Mm-hmm.
even figuring those things out, I think will help you open up to self loving yourself, because
Mm-hmm.
you're putting people in accountability for how they hurt, how they
Right.
come, you know,
And
and
and and and another thing I love is that we have to guard our heart. We
mhm,
have to guard our heart. And that's a huge part of self-love, because like what you're saying, not everybody's meant to be here,
thank
you
you.
know? And we have to know how to cut it off.
Yeah.
We're
It's
loving ourselves if we say, you know what, you're not good for me, and I'm
yeah,
cutting this off. Hmm.
yeah, but it's a hard one
Absolutely. It
because, like,
is.
a lot of times it's our loved ones that we
Hmm.
lose,
Yeah.
and we don't acknowledge it, or we just keep giving them that pass because we love.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I go through that a lot, and I just be like,
Hmm.
you know, it's okay,
Yeah.
and it's not.
It's not okay. Hmm.
But I think I think if you can evaluate situation,
Hmm.
you can do better growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a hard one.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love the way you broke down self-care, and it's so much that goes into, well, self-love. Everything that goes into self-love is so many parts to it. Um
It is.
Mentally, emotionally, physically. And we have to I think we have, and this word just came to me. I think we have to customize individually what our self-love looks like for us. And once we customize that, then we need to move into it and don't put it off, you know,
Hmm.
whether that means whether your self-love journey looks like finding the right therapist, like you were saying, um, having the right people in your life, um, taking better care of your health, whatever your journey looks like, customize it and then get into it. Like, don't put it off. Like, we're not promised tomorrow, next week, whatever. We need to start this today.
Yeah.
It's so important.
And it's one of those things because we're very dismissive of our own feelings.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to be like, how do I rescue everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
You know? But I think self love should be something, start small, work
Mm-hmm.
big,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said the other day, I was overwhelmed. And I took me, what, 15, 20 minutes to do my toenails? Yeah, I messed them up. Darn them. But you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
I
But at least you
didn't,
did it. At least you took the time to do it. Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
today, you know, I'm already trying to pick things in my head. Like, what could I do
Mm-hmm.
for myself? How do I make myself feel like I'm appreciated? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't, and I think what we lose our idea is
Mm-hmm.
that we want to be appreciated by others when
Mm-hmm.
really we need to learn how to appreciate ourselves,
Right.
and
Right. Mm-hmm.
that's a lost feature on ourselves
Mm-hmm.
because, as moms, we're like, nope, you're being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, you got kids. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's not like you're going to abandon your children. Like I said, it's not like you're going to leave them on the floor with an electrical cord and
Right.
spoil food and go, walk out the door. No.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the breakdown of overwhelming because we get so
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed with being a nurturer, a mom, a
Mm-hmm.
wife, for, whatever backbone of whatever thing that's going on right then.
Yeah.
And cheerleader, I think we're cheerleaders.
Oh
We
yeah.
outfit. We're cheerleaders, whether we put on the outfit or not.
Right.
Right? But you think
Mm-hmm.
we we forget,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I
It's just important for us not to lose ourselves.
yeah, because
We
honestly,
have to remember us. Mm-hmm.
it can be as much as still dealing with the kids, like
Mm-hmm.
we have grown adults, but we still get that readaptment to the world feeling. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
looking
Mm-hmm.
at myself, and I got soon to be a 21-year-old, and there's and a
Yeah.
25 and a 23-year-old. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and a 24-year-old. Oh my! But you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
it could be something as simple as putting your hair up,
Mm-hmm.
walking around with a face mask on,
Mm-hmm.
putting your feet in in one of those things that soak our feet.
Yeah. Or
But
taking that much needed getaway
and
weekend just for
yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing. I start small, but when you
Mm-hmm.
get to that point where you can go bigger,
Mm.
it is so like, and like when me and my husband were dating,
Mhm.
it was the ride to the bay.
Mhm.
That was my
Mhm.
break. I loved the ride. And then I would
Yeah.
come back home and it was like, oh my God, I regrouped, you know?
Mhm.
What did I do in that car ride? I blasted my music. I ate junk
Mhm.
food way on the way down there. You know, my husband will
Mhm.
tell you jokes about my glove compartment having tiki punch and Funyuns. What? That was my time.
Mhm.
And now, it's like the adjustment of the kids don't need us as much, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
or like other mothers, they are still needed by their toddlers, their,
Mhm.
you know, elementary kids, teenage kids, whatever it may
Yeah.
be.
Mhm.
Get even if you're dealing with the kids, put a face
Mhm.
mask on and just
Yeah.
give yourself that time, then go wash it off.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
he's taking a nap, paint your toenails,
Yeah.
read.
Mhm.
You don't have to read the whole book. Give
Right.
yourself portions, you
Yeah.
know. But I think it's really important because I'm 42 again this year.
Absolutely.
And when I say that, it's because I still am learning myself.
Mm. Mhm.
I don't know me,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
beautiful thing. Think of it that way. If
Mhm.
we don't make it a chore to learn yourself and love yourself, it can
Mhm.
be a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
and that's
Mhm.
what we don't understand about doing for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because if something bad happens to us, we're like, oh, now I'm sick. Now I got to take care of myself, you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
Or,
Absolutely.
oh no, I stumped my foot. Now I got to go get a band aid for myself. But
Mhm.
now let one of our kids do it. We're like,
Right. Right.
taking over, you know?
Right. Right.
But I
Yeah.
think if you make small adjustments for yourself,
Mhm.
you know
Mhm.
your kids are safe, and you still have that connection of the 360 app.
Yes.
You can do things for yourself and still, and our phones, we have videos. You
Mhm.
know, remember back in the day, we had a pager. I
Oh.
remember my grandma could page me, and I'd be like, I gotta find a phone.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So
Yes.
imagine what our parents went through, and
Mhm.
now it's been passed down to us. They're sitting back laughing. I know my
Yeah.
grandma sits back and laughs sometimes. You're like, gotcha.
Yep.
Hmm. But
Yeah. Well, this has been amazing. Like I said, like I always knew it would be. But thank you so much for just sharing your heart and your journey on self-love and self-care. I think is so important. And I loved everything, you said about, taking your time to love yourself, to know yourself, holding yourself accountable, as well as holding others accountable is very important. And don't feel guilty taking time for yourself because we came into this world by ourselves. We're going to leave by ourselves. So we might as well start getting to know self for sure.
yeah, you have
Yeah.
to, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not, the thing is, you're not doing it selfishly because, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like you're gonna abandon your toddler on the floor.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, if you can get moments to yourself, no matter what time it is, in
Mm-hmm.
you know, in a perfect world,
Mm-hmm.
we have perfect hours and you
Yeah.
have set time that you're gonna relax, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't,
Yeah.
and so if you can adjust a few minutes, starting
Mm-hmm.
small, big,
Yeah.
you will see a change in yourself for the better, and you will project that to your kids. You know,
Absolutely. And everybody around you. Mm-hmm.
and the thing is, like I said for Valentine's Day, I had friends that were so miserable because they didn't have someone to love on them.
Mm-hmm.
But you think, like you said, we were brought into this world alone. We're gonna most
Mm-hmm.
likely leave alone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so on Valentine's Day. I did see a lot of women doing the dinners for themselves. Did you see that? I
Mm-hmm.
forgot what they're calling it. Dang it, I gotta look it up.
Mm-hmm.
But they treated themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also had their family. Like, if you think about it, you have Valentine's all the time with your kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, they are your people. You made those perfect little people, you know?
Yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
you sit there and like me, I take my grandma Valentine's Day gifts, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so it doesn't stop with a relationship.
Yeah.
It begins with our kids.
Absolutely.
We have those
Mm-hmm.
people. And
Mm-hmm.
part of learning and loving yourself to
Mm-hmm.
set, like I saw one of the ladies, oh my God, I love her so much. She set up a whole dining room table, like a little table for herself. She had
Mm-hmm.
roses. She had
Oh
her own
wow.
food. She had dipped strawberries.
Oh wow.
I was like, go girl. You know,
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
it's a love on yourself kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
It
You
is.
know,
Mm-hmm.
love, and it's people, may take it differently,
Mm-hmm.
but self love can be moments to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
flowers to yourself, a shirt to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
clothing, the way you decorate your room, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because what are you doing it for? Your happiness.
Absolutely.
And your happiness matters. And I think that's where we get lost because
Mm-hmm.
we become such nurturers too. I gotta go
Yeah.
love everything.
Mm-hmm.
We lose that idea,
I
you
love
know.
that. I love that what you said. Your happiness matters. That is so true. So true.
And sometimes I think what we should do,
Mm-hmm.
get white t-shirts
Mm-hmm.
and write on them
Yep.
and tell yourself a positive note.
Mm-hmm.
You go. And then you wear
Yep.
those different t-shirts. Like,
Mm-hmm.
me, I wear a lot of different t-shirts that have different sayings on them
Yeah.
because I have to sometimes feel in my feelings of my shirts, you
Mm-hmm.
know? But I think until you realize you matter, we lose the idea of it's okay to matter,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And love is a big word, but it's also an easy word,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
But to love yourself is
Mm-hmm.
probably one of the scariest things you can ever teach yourself to do. You
Yeah.
know, once you're a person that cares about others, because there's people that don't have no kids, that is
Mm.
just the biggest heart in the world,
Yeah.
and oh my God, you got a big heart, and do you
Mm-hmm.
know hurt? Those people can hurt.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks that because
You're
they're put
right.
on positive smiles, you know. So yeah, this is great because I look
Mhm.
forward to every time we talk.
Yeah,
You
me
are
too.
Where were you when I was younger? Because I would have
Where were
loved it.
you when I was younger?
Man, I would have, because I was like, let me get up. I'm getting ready. Get my
Mm-hmm.
coffee. My husband made my
Yeah.
coffee. Let me make coffee. But, it's things like this is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And,
Yeah.
during COVID, I know a lot of people are like, I miss people. I miss this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But as much as people want touch,
Yeah.
this, I'm like loving it. I could drink my
Yeah.
coffee with,
Right.
and but also with me going around a lot of people that do not care as much, I know
Mhm.
I'm keeping you safe.
Yeah.
I know I'm
And
keeping
and
your
I'm
mind,
keeping you safe. Yeah. We're keeping each other safe.
but yet
Yeah.
we're giving each other those smiles. We're just,
Mm-hmm.
we drink our
Yeah.
coffee,
Mm-hmm.
we make future plans. And I
Yeah.
think, what people are missing about that
Mm-hmm.
is they're not trying to find that inner connection or inner peace
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
through simple things like this. To
Yeah.
me, this is my highlight of my day, you know,
Mine
and
too.
it's like that motivation to get
Mm-hmm.
you from one level to the next. If we can
Right.
do this every day to have
Mm-hmm.
the back and forth, it's healthy, you
Yes,
know.
it is. It
And
is.
I don't think people take a lot of this, to be like, oh, it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
I think they neglect the idea of it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
touch is nice, but right now we're not healthy for each other, you
Yeah.
know, in that touch. So it's great to have this connection.
Yeah.
And then
So on
you think
that note, I'm sorry, go ahead.
you think of this, you've
Mm-hmm.
prepared the day towards
Yeah.
I've smiled, I've been happy, I've gone through this,
Yeah.
and then the next stage in your day. You know,
Absolutely. I
it's
agree. It goes back to how you how you start your day matters. It
yeah.
matters. So thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and end this session. It's been amazing. I'm sure you and I are going to continue talking, but we're going to go ahead and end this. So thank you everybody who tuned in to our first episode. Thank you to all of you who are going to tune in to our second episode. We truly appreciate you. We hope that what we're the conversations that we're having um, is helping, because I'm a big person of like, if we start to talk about it, then other people start to feel like they're not alone and the healing starts. So we just want to be our natural selves. Again, we don't have a script. We just come on here and we just start talking. So we hope and pray that this is helping. So until next time, bye.